there's a physicist named Melvin Vopson, and he's out of Portsmouth, UK. And he I didn't realize he got to this before I did.
Sure.
But he hypothesized that information has mass.
Okay.
And because information has mass, it's a state of matter. So this is along with like plasmas, liquid, gas, solids.
Sure.
And that just very much intrigued me. Working in technology, it's like, what do you mean information is a state of matter? And this mass, energy, information equivalence. So this is the combination of a guy named Einstein and Landauer. Because E equals E, and they both say, hey, these equations equal E. So if you combine the equations, basic algebra, it shows you this mass, energy, information equivalence. And instead of saying that over and over again, I just call it infoton. And I hypothesized at a specific temperature, which is the smallest temperature that you can have, it creates a particle. So this is getting into like particle physics, electrons, protons, that type of stuff. Like, how do you create matter with these little information particles, these infotons? And because they essentially explain how we exist, and I've been able to create software working in production with them, so we know, okay, this actually does function in this way. We can use it. We can build in quantum physics with it. It means, when you look at it, our technology, our data centers are thermodynamically inflamed, meaning they're running way too hot. And we know they're running way too hot because they require water. A well-designed data center does not require water. It doesn't require nuclear energy, and it doesn't require scaling. And it's hard when we have so many technologists around to fully comprehend what this means, because we've had this technology since the 1950s. So if we change it, what does that do? And how does that improve our, I'm just going to call it intelligence, because artificial intelligence is just statistical inference models, like guessing is just statistics. It's not actually quantum physics. So with this infoton, and by following cryptographic number theory, we can essentially fix the data centers. And that's the conversation that's happening now, but it's become very surprising. I didn't expect this. It's become very what's the word?
Complicated? Complex?
Complicated, controversial. Okay. And it's like, why is this so controversial? And it's because we have systems that have built everything, like education systems, corporations, politics, everything on this system. And so that's what the infoton is. It's here to help us fix our systems and essentially save humanity, and why I was interested in having a conversation with you in the first place, and of course your political run.
Well, thank you. And I want to be as open-minded and thoughtful to you as possible. I know you're passionate about the subject. I know there's a lot of talk about the data centers, which is a good time to speak as my phone goes off on our podcast. I've got so many different things. That's a client's father right there. So I've got so many different things I'm running through. So I know a little bit about it. I understand your passion for it. I know there's a data center debate here in Utah, which we all know about. I tend to think when everyone's saying one thing, like I've never been into like the herd mentality of like, this is the way. It's like when Elon Musk was cutting out government, like he was using Doge, which we need to do like 80% more. Like 80% of the government could go away right now. We would all be wealthier. Those are unproductive jobs. And people are like, I mean, there's like this group think that happens. So like, my thing is the data centers, and this is not Jay Cox, this is not anybody, they take in less water than farms do. We have to have technology. Every industry that comes through is first met with resentment. Oh, you can't have the Industrial Revolution. You can't have, it's actually good. It's actually good. Now, I'm not for the government subsidizing people to do business. I am for tax cuts. I call tax cuts, any tax cut, a freedom loophole. So if a government says you won't pay taxes for 10 years, I love it all, because the last thing I want to do is give the government any more money at all. Now, in this data center here that's proposed to be built, if it's for
And you're talking about the hyperscaler one
I
out in
think-
Box Elder County?
yes, yes. If it's for military purposes, if it's going to be used for the government to spy on us, I'm against it. If it's a free market thing that's going to be used for the people, I'm for it. Because if it's private capital, everybody coming and using private capital, it uses less than farms. The production that we have that actually makes our life better is we can mass produce things at scale. That's actually where we have a benefit in our quality of life. When everyone says, this sucks, it usually, groupthink is usually so far from being accurate, it's ridiculous. So if everybody's like, the data center sucks, usually it's just like, I mean, I would say this, if it's free market, if it's private capital, let it go. We've talked about that before. Is this data center here, what is it going to be used for? And what is the significant issue with it being built, if you can summarize it in like a very brief, like if you can in 2 or 3 minutes?
Yeah, I was going to ask, have they divulged what the purpose is?
Yeah. So having come from specifically identity, right? In the tech world, I did identity, information protection, that type of stuff. There is no form of collecting your data which is not spying. So when you delete something from your phone, think about it this way. If you put something in your trash, they say it's fair game. Somebody can just come and pick it up. So anytime you delete stuff, they're just scraping that information and then throwing it over here and, picking it up and storing it.
Who is they?
Well, I mean,
Yes.
we have the Bumble Hive over here with the NSA.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, that's one, any of these third-party people. So anytime you discard that data, that's all being picked up. And that's being put into these machines. And it's not just AI. So when we talk about AI, this is the conglomerate of our digital essence being collected and then aggregated in large machine learning models. The other half of that is in those terms and conditions that you agree to. If you go through and you read them, a lot of times you are agreeing for these companies. They're saying, oh, we're not going to take your data. But what you don't realize is they're saying, oh, January, if you agree to this, you can take Taylor, or we're going to come in and take Taylor's data. So I would be selling you by agreeing to many of these apps, right? And that's what's being put into these data centers.
Can
So-
I add a little
go-
bit?
yeah.
Sorry, Taylor.
Yeah.
So this is many years ago. So for a period of about 20 years, my mother was a corporate attorney in Silicon Valley. Most of her clients were Chinese clients, and admittedly, her job was to write contracts in order to perfect the software for data aggregation through social media. So this is now maybe not the earliest days, but certainly already starting. So I feel like January is absolutely correct. This is what is happening, and we've been told.
A long time.
So okay, let me throw this out there because I want to give both sides and let you, not even both sides.
I have to know, are you playing devil's advocate right now?
No, I'm
Okay,
sincerely asking
okay.
because I feel like people, like there was a bill sponsored by Ted Cruz where he was like, we're going to make sure that like if you have a smart refrigerator that it's going to tell you, it's like you don't have to connect to the Wi-Fi. Like there is a sense of like there's two different things here. There's the NSA and there's the government, and then there's social media. There's things like that which do collect information to be able to, just like if we talk on this phone and then it can come up in a minute, whatever we talk about will probably be on my phone. Like it'll be something, you know what I mean? Because it can hear. It absolutely does. It also keeps our search history where it's like, oh, you watched this video on investment. Here's the next investment. So I feel like what we can't do is we cannot vilify people who are in business who, if you voluntarily agree to use an app, they're going to log your search history. If you voluntarily agree to hook a smart refrigerator up, it might know what kind of food that you like. Like there's that, and then there's the government. If it's the free market, if it's businesses doing things, they're not violating us
What's the difference?
because they don't have force to come and put us in jail. The government has the guns and the police to do that. If a business, if you get on an app and they're tracking what you use, in my opinion, you're voluntarily using that app. I can throw this phone away right now. If this phone is taking my information, and by the way, I'm not for the government taking the information after it goes in there, right? But if the
But that's
phone,
in the agreement that you signed.
that's fine, and I don't have to have the phone. This is the one thing. Not
But you go into the
not-
public and
not
your
you.
information is collected.
not you, but like there is this push in people. Like I find that like with the whole, it's like these things make money off being able to monetize certain aspects. ChatGPT is just starting to be able to monetize it. And there's a lot of capital, there's a lot of investment that has to go into these things to be able to do it. People will use ChatGPT to create things, to do things, to do work for them. And then they'll say, well, we can't have, it's just, we have to let freedom be first. We have to let the markets be first. You can always not use a phone. You don't have to use a phone. Now, I think what you're talking about, are you talking about like cameras everywhere, like at these gas stations and stuff, looking at the driver's license plates? I've heard about this. I don't know
So there's one called geospy.ai, and this one tracks you anywhere you go. So any camera at all that's hooked up to the internet, they can hack into, well, not hack into, legally access through this application that is built upon NSA technology and watch you. And they can just track you across everything. And that technology, I believe I was talking to Ava Chaffetz. She's the one that told me that this Salt Lake City government was interested in that technology and using it. And so that's one aspect of it, okay? There's a couple of other things that are going to these data centers that I want to highlight. So another one is these mining activities. Not all crypto is software, okay? Some of it's malware. And the crucial difference is whether or not you can turn it off. If you can't turn something off, it's malware. And especially above a certain entropy production. So if you're hitting an 8 out of 8 entropy production, you can't be turned off, you're malware. And this mining is essentially flipping trillions of bits, mining these trillions of bits, putting them into data centers and then discarding it, and essentially it's a infrastructure malware attack. So yes, I can understand being like, hey, we as individuals have freedom to, like, I want to be able to go buy something, right? Sure, fine. But if what you're calling an investment is actually a Trojan virus, that's a weapon against the United States, because if you look at like China only has like 400 data centers for a population of 1.4 billion people. And the United States has 550 with another 1,200 on the way. And
Are you sure that
positive.
Are you sure that China only has
Yes.
400 billion? Plus, China's per capita income is like 7,000 per person. Like they're extremely poor. Ours is like 60,000, 52,000.
Right.
So we are 10x the per capita income. We consume a lot more than they do. We also have a higher standard of living. But go ahead. Go ahead.
Not to that point. If you look at the numbers don't add up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, I mean, this is baseline computers. How do you take down the United States? You can't attack them directly, right? We saw what happened with 9/11. U.S. just reared their heads and we're like, we're going after you, right? Same thing with Japan, right? Any type of attack that's direct, we destroy. So if you go and you be subtle about your attacks, these cyber attacks, these computer attacks are the perfect way. And it's not normal to have that many data centers. It's not.
But we've never had this much need for data centers because of the need now for AI, for the super computation that is now occurring.
But we're having
relative
injection attacks in the AI.
Okay.
May I ask January a question just to tag
Yeah.
along with your
Yeah.
original question?
Yeah.
So, number one, January, to what extent do we actually have a choice? I know he said terms and conditions, but do we really have a choice? We can't just throw our phone away. This is going outside of terms and conditions of a phone, presumably, right?
We do have a choice. So bring it back to something that's even more important. You said if this is private, free capital and everything like that being invested into these data centers, then it's fine.
Yes.
That's not the case at all. They're using taxpayer dollars to essentially pump their stuff, and they're funneling.
How?
So
I'm open to hear. Like I just want to I want to get into the
I was going to ask her that next.
yeah
so
how
please do.
exactly are they using taxpayer dollars? How is Box Elder using taxpayer dollars?
well, this one isn't just specifically Box Elder County. So I haven't gone through and looked at all their stuff. I didn't see Box Elder County in this list. So the governor of Utah, okay, how are they laundering money? This was given to me.
Okay.
It was dang near impossible to get our hands on it. But the Governor's Office of Economic Development
Okay.
is essentially laundering money, taxpayer dollars, to selected individuals, selected companies. And you can look this up. So normally this list is supposed to be freely available to the public, but they wanted to hide it behind grandma requests. Are you familiar with those?
No, but tell me how they're laundering.
All right, I'm taking
Okay.
you through those.
Okay.
Okay. So essentially, there's been over 500 million over the last 300 years of taxpayer dollars. So they keep saying there's no money, there's not enough money, everything in here. But if you go and you look at this, you can see some of these groups, like the META one, they've received millions of dollars from this. So the taxpayers are paying for META that is going into this
What is
box.
META? Do you mean?
This is the Military Industrial Development.
Okay. That sounds ridiculous. So
That's the Box Elder County Data
not-
Center.
No, I'm saying the whole idea of like a military, like for the state of Utah to even have something called the military, blah blah blah. Like that's a joke. And so what you're saying is, this is a government entity. The military. What was it?
I believe
META.
they might have set it up as a LLC, but META is the one that's over this data center.
Yes.
And it is.
Is it a company or is it part of the state of Utah? I'm confused. I don't know if you can tell me.
This is the big
Okay.
question here.
Okay.
Okay. There's this list of over 1,000 groups that have received money, taxpayer dollars
Yes.
from the government.
Uh-huh.
And the question is what are you guys doing with this money?
Yeah.
Why were you hiding it so
Yeah.
hard? Why didn't you want us to see it? And it's being run by this guy. Do you know Jefferson Moss? Have you heard of Jefferson? He used to be our congressman out in Saratoga.
Okay.
And if you go and you look in all these groups, he's in like all of these photos. And he hangs around with Senator Stuart Adams. So Stuart Adams is on the board of META, and so is Jefferson, and so is, I'm forgetting his name.
Okay.
But so these politicians are essentially investing in themselves, their friends, their kids, everything through this governor's office. So they're actually taking taxpayer dollars, putting it into these systems, and then they're forcing these systems on us and saying, well, this is a private entity, right? Like as you said. But it's not a private entity because the taxpayers are actually the ones that are paying for it.
Right.
And like you said, why in the world do we have military industrial complexes going through the state of Utah government side taxpayer dollars? In the
I
first
agree.
place?
So I'm not for any crony capitalism. So that was great. That is great intel. Like that's why you're here. I want to really. It's just, and the reason I'm being like I'm honing in on it is because I know the time is limited and we just don't have. It's but you're doing awesome. Like I'm learning a lot, and that's why I want you to like teach me too because I haven't been. You're working on taking a path to mastery on these things.
It took years to track these people down.
And so but in theory, you're not, are you against data centers if they're private capital?
I'm pro physics.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What that means is if your technology is designed properly, you don't flag cybersecurity people. And that's as simple as it is. You don't get on my radar. If your technologies are designed properly, if you're not exploiting people, if you're not pushing slavery, if you're not stealing from them, you do not land on my radar. But if you're doing something bad, you land on.
So are you against data centers who don't use the Infoton thing that you want
it.
to use?
So
are you against their existence?
Their existence is unnecessary.
But are you against it?
No,
You think we should shut it
the
down?
existence. If you are thermodynamically inflamed and taking water and killing the Great Salt Lake, absolutely shut it down. Your technology never should have been launched and deployed into production in the first place. Yes. Now with this one that we have right here, it's not being built today, but and this is even more alarming. If they get this, the data center is like stage 2. Stage 1 later on today, they're hosting a Operation Gigawatt Summit, okay? And it's to get this first nuclear reactor in the ground. And if that first nuclear reactor gets in the ground, that's $77 billion from ratepayers that disappears.
Okay. There's a couple things because I just don't think we want to live in a world where we take all the data centers out of the United States.
That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is if you
but you don't even think in theory, and to tell me if I'm wrong. I want you to tell me if I'm wrong. I want you to tell me. You don't even think like the ones here. You think the ones here in Utah, when we have farms, mass farming uses more water than data centers. So like the idea that like
humans are
somehow-
more important than
But data centers are a part of humans.
no,
Because
that's digital essence.
Because technology research is cancer. It's going to help us live longer. A lot of breakthroughs
So the Infoton gives you the
We-
technology that allows you to unlock cures for diseases.
we don't have infant deaths anymore because of technology.
We don't have
like
what?
infant deaths, like mortality within a baby 200 years ago, January, was extremely high.
But our mortality in infants is higher than it's ever been
No,
because
no,
that's just true. This
No,
is what
it's
I heard
not.
from a doctor
it's but that,
just
but
last
that's,
year.
that's not a fact. 200 years ago, the mother and the baby's life, it was very common for the mother, if she birthed 4 or 5 kids, to actually die. So the mother's mortality and infant mortality have plummeted because we can now save people. That like we have to, and you are awesome. You're so smart. You lean more toward freedom. You have such a good heart. But I want to illustrate that we do have to have technology, and we can't be against it.
I'm
just
not a
for the
Luddite.
sake-
I am a technologist.
Right. But you.
Should
but,
I break this
but
up?
you-
Can I ask
But
a
you just told me
question?
that the babies are dying
I,
at record rates.
yeah,
and
they are
that-
getting
that-
cancer at record
that
rates.
is not true, though. As far as mortality, cancer, maybe you might be right about that. But go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I'm just going to add my
Yeah.
therapeutic approach.
Yes.
You leave me a little heated
Sorry,
here.
I'm-
And I know you're trying to.
I'm-
I'm not a scientist. I
Yeah.
just was wondering what January's opinion was on one, if they're going to continue using water, if the pollution level of that is going to be just astronomically detrimental to the planet, and two, what are your thoughts on, for example, Georgia using eminent domain to steal people's homes in order to continue their data structures?
Okay, so there's no reason for data centers to use water. That's the first thing that I'm saying.
Right, and I understood that.
So if the data centers aren't using water,
But if they do?
am I having an issue? No, there's a.
Okay, but you say
I
that,
just
but water
wasn't
cooling, water absorbs heat extremely efficiently.
But why do you need water
It's
if the data
cheap.
centers aren't producing heat anymore?
but they are.
No, if you do an update, okay, let me take you through this. So you have this thing called error correction checks in computers. We've known about this in technology at least since 2009, since I was a computer repair technician.
Mm-hmm.
It uses 584 checks,
Mm-hmm.
okay? Every single time. This is what wears down your RAM. This is why RAM prices are hard. And this system was human designed. We picked it. It's market design, but it doesn't align to physics. So if instead of all those checks, you can have it take three
I'm listening.
checks of heat, because every one of those computation costs heat with Landauer. That's not the same as this 84. So if that's the case, then you already eliminated the use for water. Now,
it was the ramifications of if they do not use what you're proposing they should use, what do you think is going to be the outcome?
we will bake to death and have a terrible death.
That's
That's-
terrible.
I don't want to, like,
Twilight Zone level.
it's, and this isn't me even the person that said, this is me just saying, okay, yes, I acknowledge that this technology that I created is harming people. How do we fix it? We go over here and we do this update.
There is no known physics breakthrough that magically eliminates heat from computation.
That's not what I said. That's not what I said.
But it is what you're saying.
No, that's not what I
But
said.
you're implying that water, that what you have, and you may have it, because you may have that, but
Computation still produces heat.
yes,
Yes.
exactly.
So how many
And
computations does it require to compute in all actuality?
how many?
3.
And then, so why aren't NVIDIA, why isn't Amazon using this technology if it would save them on energy costs and do it? Why?
I don't know. Why are all their home offices all investing in energy and technology and data centers? You know what a home office is?
Amazon's not making their money off data centers.
That's not what I said.
But Amazon's business model is not baked into business to data centers.
They are
Amazon's
making money
trying
off
to
of
make-
your data, yes.
Amazon's market capital is derived from delivering products at a really low rate. That's how they've expanded their business,
And how do they do that?
by delivering products at a very low rate.
And how do they
compared
do
to UPS, yeah, by delivering it.
But how do they do that?
Well, if they could do it more efficiently by having an Infoton update, they would.
No, so we're not even talking about the Infoton. How does
No,
Amazon make
but
their money?
You're alluding to data centers and electric cars and all this kind of stuff and using technology. I just think I totally am with you in regards to the crony capitalism and things of that nature. I think, and I'm not like I appreciate the passionate dialogue. And I wanted her here so she could bring some levity. She has a therapist background. She
appreciate the levity.
she knew about you, and I want to have an open and honest conversation, which I love having because I know how you are because you've obviously, and we've already used like half the.
Yeah,
It's an important topic, so keep.
So we use, when I say we, data is used about you to predict and curate outcomes that financially benefit companies and profit their bottom line.
Mhm.
When we say, how does Amazon make their stuff? This is one way that Amazon does it. This is how the banks do it. This is everybody. We enslave the population with the data that we collect on you.
Unless the government's going to do something with it, we're not enslaved.
The government and the corporations are doing the same thing because
What can the corporations really do if they know what kind of hamburger meat that you like?
they can
like
take your
how-
money.
How? By offering
Social
you,
engineering.
by so describe that.
So social engineering is asymmetric. So if we have enough information on you, we can make you do anything that we want. So it takes away your autonomy and your freedom.
Yeah, in theory.
And
Are-
we did
are-
this in politics. We
can
showed
they-
it in
Yeah,
politics.
because they blacklist people, they or that they blackmail or basically cancel people, so on and so forth. But can they do that to 5 billion, to 300 million people in America, 340 million?
If you have enough data on them, yes.
And where is that happening?
Everywhere.
Like where has that?
I mean, it's every single one of us has one of these cell phones. You have your applications, you have your banks. This
So-
is what
so-
we created.
So, but like the information that would be embarrassing to someone would be like, I would think, like what their sexual proclivities are or something like that.
Yes.
What would it matter about like hamburger meat?
It's
Or-
not that simple.
So it, go ahead.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's
Go
not
ahead.
that simple. They're not that concerned about your hamburger meat or your sexual proclivities. It's the entire. I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but it's the surveillance state concept and enslaving the population. So now I've just inserted something that now you guys have to
Well,
unravel.
so the thing is I was paid really good money to do this for companies.
Mhm.
So it's not a conspiracy if that's how I made my career, was doing this. And that's what these machine learning models are.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the AI is. Like we talk about AI and social engineering and
So yeah, so I'm all on board with stopping the surveillance state and stopping the government. I don't want if that thing's part of the state deal, I'm actually against it. The whole military, like you said, the MIDA. I'm also against the NSA data center in Bluffdale. I know that uses a lot of energy. It's a joke that they absolutely keep our texts and stuff. And
why did they need it anyways?
I agree. I don't want the government. I don't even think the NSA should exist. I would just say I think there's two different things here. I think there's the government, and then there's if companies know like, oh, we're talking about a topic, and then I go to Google right now and it's like data centers, because like it can hear, because we all know the cell phones here. I mean, everyone knows like that's been like that for 10 years now. But you're also voluntarily agreeing to use the cell phone. Just like if I cook on a stove, I may burn myself. Like we can't. There's a difference between the government who has guns and military to go enforce things and then there's private business whose technology is maybe not always good for us, but I think we can't just ban it or stop it.
I'm not saying ban it.
No.
I'm saying
I know.
update it.
I'm just saying. But and to your point, I'm with you. But your solution is if you don't update it, basically these data centers should not exist off order. Would you say that's a fair?
If you're, this is baseline product management.
Yes.
Yes. If you launched a
Mhm.
product into development that is harmful to the populations, then this is what we do in software all the time. We roll it back. Oh, we figured something out. Roll it back out of production, bring it back into QA development, sandbox environments, and say, okay, what's going on here? And that's what I'm saying needs to be done. Now, the people that are running these things, they are not technology. These are, I really am doing my best not to be mean with my words.
Yeah.
There's a list of over 200 people that aren't acting appropriately. And you're saying like, well, why isn't NVIDIA doing these good things? And it's like, I don't know. The EPA has been hammering on them for years to fix their products and they're refusing.
But do you realize the damage if we just stopped all the data centers now? Where would unemployment go?
Well, the
how
data
would-
centers aren't employing people. They're actually mostly remote.
But they're running the technology that we use to get food from a farm
So
to a store.
we do backup after backup. So we have this thing called backups in tech, where it's essentially like, okay, we back up your data here and here and here across, like, Amazon is one of these groups. So Amazon East, Amazon West, Central, and then you have it across the across the world and everything. So we do multiple backups across everything. So you're saying, well, what if one of them goes down? It's like,
all of them. What if all of them? What if none of nothing can take water?
The update would take, like, honestly, from going through QA, if you go and you rush to the finish line, maybe 1 to 3 months.
January, where is the update? You have a tangible thing.
I do have a tangible update
right
yes,
now.
Yes, and
then have you reached out to Amazon, NVIDIA, and told them I can help you change?
Have you ever tried talking to these
but
people?
I'm asking.
I'm sure she has.
If you ever try talking to these people, they are not. They set up their systems in such a way where they do not receive outside feedback. You have to go through layer after layer after layer. Now, that said, I do have friends that are in the industry that are interested and are having conversations with me and are local and are saying, okay, let's go through, let's check the architecture of these items. Let's check the development. Let's go through the QA. But getting those resources has taken a year and 15 months after essentially becoming a whistleblower and finding out something else that I'm under NDA for, which made getting, like, honestly, if that first individual had done the right thing instead of legaling up, we wouldn't even be having this conversation today.
It seems a little, and I want to change the subject, and I appreciate this so much. You are so awesome. Thank you for being here with me. Thanks for talking.
Very gratuitous.
No, well, no, you are awesome, and I appreciate you. It seems a little like, if I can be, it seems like you have the answer, and then if we don't do what you want to burn the whole thing down, basically, and say no more data centers on.
That's not what I'm saying at
running on
all.
water.
Can I derail you guys just again? Because
Please
I'm
do.
very curious about your perspectives. Taylor keeps talking about private industry. I know he's very much in support of that. I am not entirely sure, just like January articulated at the very beginning, that private industry is separate from government at this point. And she seems to have some knowledge as to this. She's already stated as such. Why are you so convinced, Taylor, that these two types of things are not interconnected?
I think they are. I think they are greatly. But I also think, like, if a private capital comes to build a data center, the answer is not to go against the data center because it uses water. Like,
That's too simplistic.
well, that's kind of what's happening.
The
That's what's
issue
happening
is
here,
the
and that's what's
evaporation.
But that's what's happening here in Utah, and that's what's happening across the country with the anti-data center thing because they use too much water.
I think that's the simple answer that everyone's giving. I think their greatest concern is that the individual entity is not separated from the government overlord. And if there's a better way to do it, they have largely neglected hearing this. And I think January has already said that more than once in more than one way.
I just think there's two functions for data center. Yeah, some of them are NSA spying, or could be, but also there's, like, they help run the country. Like, I think we have to know that they're both there at the same time.
How are they helping run the country?
Because they help us have AI.
But we're entering the tech revolution as we'd entered other revolutions before. So this is going to be a new era of life. So tell us more about how this new era is going to be beneficial to all of us.
And I want to add one more piece to that. So both Jensen Huang, CEO of NVIDIA, and Elon Musk have said, move away from statistical inference, AI, go back to quantum physics. So I just want to understand what...
But that's not like Elon Musk also says that in 10 years from now we're going to have 10 times the economic productivity because of AI
I mean,
than we do now.
AI will have to change its mathematics. Anyway, I'm so sorry. Go ahead and answer her
how-
question, though.
But that like, okay, and I understand, like, the theory, and I can't get into the weeds because I'm not that knowledgeable about the mathematics of AI or the infotime. But what I do know is, if we live in a world where people just don't want to build data centers, or we don't want AI, AI will eventually help us cure cancer. It's going to help us live longer. It's going to help us, who knows what kind of famines it's going to prevent. Who knows all the different things it's going to help us with, because it takes human capital, like smart human capital, which is so scarce in the world, and it makes it so readily available to everybody. Like, to me, AI is a wonderful thing if you use it correctly, which even if you like, our biggest threat is the government using stuff like Palantir going and bombing the school in Iran, is using that on us, is to bomb us. But as far as our ability as individuals to have access to information, it only helps us. It only helps us. It helps us understand our bodies better. It helps us with our health. And I think there's two things that we're getting, like you said, and it's very hard to find companies that aren't embedded with the government. So to your point, it is all twisted, and this is a complex issue, and this is a passionate thing, because I want to really learn and delve into it instead of just having like surface level, this is good, this is bad. Like, we have to have an in-depth conversation. But I think AI itself is going to be great. It's going to make us more productive. It's going to lead to fewer hours worked. We're going to be able to have more creative jobs. I don't think AI is a bad thing. I do not think it is. I think if the things that like people have to do, these mundane tasks, are automated, they free us up to do more productive things. Never in our human history, life is about how much time and energy do you have to use to acquire this water bottle. And with mass production of goods, including water bottle like this, which probably has some, what's that term for the plastic that's like
PFAS.
Well, what is it?
PFAS.
Yeah. Well, no, it was like EP. What's it called?
BPA.
BPA, something like that. So like, I'm sure there's like a BPA, even though this might not be, but I'm sure like to some small degree there is. And there's going to be some of that. Like,
all of it is speculative. What I had heard is that it will eliminate all entry-level white-collar jobs. So this plastic bottle thing example, I don't think that's going to be first. It will be entry-level admin jobs. It's already happening.
Correct.
Things like that.
Which is good, though, because then those jobs get freed up to, like,
where are they going to go?
Well, 200 years ago, 95% of our society worked on farms. And now we don't have to
Farming
work on farms.
sounds nice.
And I know I aspire to that. It's hard to find now.
Yeah, but you're one winter away from not having food. I mean,
Well, we already had two freezes where our current crop that's going through right now. I was just talking to our major grocery line. We don't know if we have enough food through the remainder of the year.
Does anyone here want to go back to the standard of living in 1826? Would we go back 200 years? But that's the point. The point is we can't.
We're supporting science. Absolutely, we do.
We can't hate advances in technology.
What makes you think that I hate technology?
No, not saying
And what
you.
makes you think that I hate advances in technology? When I'm like, if you do
rhetorically
this technological advance, we can all stop fighting and talking about these data centers and AI, and I can go back to skiing.
Because if you don't get your infoton, you do want to shut them down. Is that correct or not?
I do not want to die.
Okay, so you're a point between not wanting to die, or we have to have the infoton.
No. So here's what I'm saying. No. So I want us to come to this area where I really think this conversation is so important that we're having. I really think that what you're bringing in.
I agree.
I'm doing my best to figure out how to close the gap between where I'm at and what I know, and these mathematics and everything, and where the standard population is, and because I really don't think you and I are far apart, and I don't think that we're necessarily even saying the different things here.
Mm-hmm.
So let me go through this. I have benefited from technology. I like technology. Okay, I use the development aspect of AI to code my mathematics and make it so that people can see stuff, so that I don't have to find a developer and try and explain to them what it is that I need done, right? The AI, I can prompt engineer to get it to this point. So I understand the benefits of it. And I appreciate, not having to work as much and having more time with family. Like, I appreciate all of those things.
Yeah.
And I also know that what we did on the back end and how much of your digital essence we're taking is wrong. So I want that needs to be shut down, because I know what we're doing with the data, and it's like, stop doing this. I came back and I switched sides for you guys for this. The next piece is whether or not you believe in how physics functions, the laws of the universe exist. And if we are out of line with the laws of the universe, it's saying, how do we align our technology to be in alignment with physics so that we can have the maximum amount of energy possible? Because if we're wasting like 8 billion in energy.
I'm with you.
Okay, so if we're wasting 8 billion in energy, And humanity is all about having to create this energy. We're constantly fighting about energy. We're, pushing nuclear and all of these things. But if it turns out that no matter how, and this was said on the congressional floor, no matter how many nuclear reactors you create, it will never satiate the bite. It'll never satiate AI. So it's like, whoa, there's a problem here. We need to fix this problem. So if you can fix it to where there's a 1-to-1 or even a 1-to-2 instead of a 1 to 8 billion use of energy, that means that your kids become free. That means you're free. You're not slaving away to machines that have an insatiable energy appetite.
Okay, can I stop? Because we don't have much time
Yes.
left. I'm with you. And I, hopefully I've given you a lot of time to...
You've given me way more. I thought
Okay.
this was going to be a completely different conversation.
Yes, and I wanted you to feel respected and honored to be able to speak about, because you mentioned you want
I
to
just feel like I'm being disrespectful to you now.
No, I appreciate your energy, but it has to. It's. I understand. To me, I think AI can help us with this energy problem.
How?
Because it's look at how much it's grown in 3 years. We don't know what it's going to look like in 3 years, in 6 years, in 9 years. Every 6 months, it's what's that? I forget the thing called.
So do you understand
but
that
the thing
I don't
is-
dislike
No,
technology?
No, but the
from
thing
this?
is, I'm not going to support a system where if we don't use the update, then we have to bring all the data centers or change them out.
I'm saying that
people
the
should-
data centers will dehydrate the planet.
Okay,
and we know that.
I respectfully, at this point in time, with what I know, feel the opposite, and I love that you feel passionate about it, and I'm sure something really great is going to come from your pushing this out. So thank you, and I
see.
yes, and so that's. And
It is scary.
yeah, it's different. I mean, it's for sure. Okay, something I want to talk about.
Yeah.
For
let's
all
do
of us.
this. Let's do the stuff that you wanted to talk about.
Okay, with time that we have, the cost of living, the future. I think because we have so much inflation, we've had so much inflation. The cost of like housing has gone up because they can't print houses like they can money. What is that? How do you guys feel about that? I'll start with you. Haven't said much or that much.
Please talk. I've taken way too much of the time here.
How do you feel about housing? You have a big family.
I have a big house and a big family. And I'm going to be personal here. I cannot afford my mortgage anymore because business is bad. And I'm going to add AI back into this. My industry is going to be obsolete in probably 10 years.
Because people can talk to ChatGPT about their problems.
Correct, yes. And they can replace it with a computer screen that will talk to you. So as far as if you want to purchase a home, cost of living, if you want a basic house, you're paying $500,000 for that.
I know.
And I know people say wages are not keeping up, but in the 1950s, you were able to purchase a house for X amount, and you had this X amount of money. There is a huge difference between now and then. The opportunities to actually have jobs, whatever they paid, there were more opportunities. Jobs are being lost every day. People can't find employment. I see posts all the time. I need a side hustle. I need more money. I can't pay my mortgage. I can't pay my bills. So I recently also saw that groceries were going to go up. And I sarcastically made the comment, well, at least Ozempic is affordable because we can all just not buy groceries, buy that, and starve to death. I'm sorry, that's not the answer you wanted to hear. It's a little bit emotional.
Yeah, but I want to tell you something. Because you have such a good energy wave and you're so creative too, I think there'll always be a role for someone like you to actually talk to people. As things become more digital, we might need more than any time ever to be actually connected with real human beings. So I understand what you're saying as far as like ChatGPT can be like, hey, relax. Do this exercise.
Oh, I'm not worried about my industry. But I am going to make provisions for my industry no longer existing, just because you need to be prepared for the future.
Yes.
But back
What do you do?
mental health therapy. So I own a practice.
But like where do you go?
Where do I go?
Like what do you do next?
Where do I go next?
If what you say is your industry gets
So-
collapsed, which I don't.
Blue collar. I'm planning strategically to try to learn something more blue collar, something that people can actually. You need to use your hands. You need to be involved in physically. And that might not be the best idea, but that's where you cannot replace the human, at least not immediately. They will eventually.
Like being an electrician or some sort
Things like that. Yes, exactly.
I'm with you. You're on top of. You guys are. You
Well, that doesn't sound that appealing, obviously.
No.
If the update came from the tech industry inside the tech industry instead of me, would have made a difference in this conversation.
Say it one more time.
If the update
Yeah.
had come from the tech industry instead of me, would that have made a difference in this conversation?
the 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 thing is, businesses spend their whole existence trying to find the most efficient ways to do things. I was in football, and I know that people will literally just steal ideas off each other like nothing.
Yes.
Like they'll literally just watch a game of another team and steal the idea.
Yes.
So I think you have a lot to give, but I think NVIDIA, Amazon, and all these guys too, and yes, maybe they have the infrastructure built in, but that's human capital. Like we can't just go around saying, hey, business, you got to completely shut down because I don't want you to use the water like this.
I am a business. I'm a small business.
Yeah, well, like I said, I don't want to, like, I appreciate
No, I was
this,
just, it
but
was really just a
If
question
you
around it.
recontextualize businesses that have gone out of business, put this in the context of, so my husband used to sell on Amazon when Amazon sold books. Now they don't sell books because everything is
I didn't know
electronic.
that.
So he is now, that business shut down entirely. So the more this starts to evolve, when you're talking about cost of living, it all kind of conflates with all of these various factors. Cost of living going up, people no longer being able to run their businesses because it's replaced by something entirely. It could be autonomous, and all of a sudden we have a digital world. We don't need any physical product. We're not leaving our house. We're not buying, and people are no longer able to sell. Cost of living has gone up because we still have to pay our mortgage with our inflated interest rates. But where is the money now coming back, like to us, if we've lost the infrastructure we originally had?
It doesn't. It goes into these home offices.
Okay, so I'm with you, but we have so little time.
Sorry, I was agreeing.
That's okay.
Right,
You
right,
can
right.
change topics,
No,
and you can go on with the
yeah.
cost of living question if that's.
But I just wanted to talk about that, and so how important is it? You're really good at this, January, to sort of have a personal brand. You're really good at this too. You have a personal brand, personal branding.
You have a really good personal brand.
Yeah, well, I think we all do.
I think that is the future, because that's one thing that no one can take from us. It's like personal branding, having people know us, to be able to connect with us to things. I think that's way more important. Connecting with people, that aspect of it, people knowing who you are, having a personal brand, especially in the age of automation. I think that's the future. Do you have any thoughts on that? I know you have a brand yourself, and you as well do. So maybe January you can start, and then.
My personal brand is, I don't even know what it is anymore, to be honest. But please, go ahead.
As far as personal branding goes, it's very hard to stand out in any industry or even individually as a person. So as an artist, I've been curating a particular type of look for myself, a particular type of personality. But whether that works or not, there's no way to guarantee that that's going to lead to any kind of financial success or even social success. My business, my counseling business, it does have a brand, and it's existed for 12 years now. But that brand is intricately connected to a specific population. So I think there's just so many facets to brand, and having to preserve the integrity of the brand as well as keeping up with the shifting society, that even having the brand may not be sufficient to get us through the next few changes in this world. I don't mean to derail your question, but that's how I'm feeling.
I understand.
What about you?
I think it's so important, because if you can have a personal brand, people can see you at scale, and they can get to know you. And in the world of where like tasks that like programming, being a programmer is like now being obsolete, I think it's more your creativity, your ability to connect with people, your ability to work with people, your ability to form alliances and long-term build relationships. I think that's the future, because we're all going to have so much capital.
It's human.
We're all going to have so much brain capital at our fingertips. I can get this to build anything for me I want. Almost, I can certainly use
What do you build?
Like a Gemini. I can build, well, like if I teach school, I can build a whole week's worth of lesson plans. It can give me ideas. It can give me, I can do all that stuff. It can give me scripts. It can give me everything. And this is a cheap little $8 a month version of this. The businesses that have access to this stuff at scale, oh my God. So basically, human brain capital is being, as you said, made obsolete, because now we all have an IQ of 190. But the one thing that we can't necessarily just optimize and scale is being able to work with people, having emotional intelligence, having the ability to build relationships, to build connections, those things matter more than ever.
Will they still have interest in that?
Yeah, because in order to allocate resources, you got to be able to build relationships. I think like if you know this, but like if you're going to form businesses with somebody, you got to know them. They got to know you. They got to see that you're somebody who's consistent, reliable, emotionally stable, consistent, hardworking, has discipline, to be able to function and finish things through. And no matter the vehicle for which you're doing that in, those traits are more important than ever. And having the ability to work with people and deal with people at high levels is the ultimate test going forward. So.
I don't want to derail your beautiful thought, but we've already seen a disengagement in the newest generations from society as a whole. They don't want to interact, and they're relying 100% on computer-generated information to learn from, which is fine. They're taking information from hundreds of thousands of humans that has been compiled so that they can learn from it, but they're choosing to be isolated from society. And how do we know that that's not going to continue? They no longer have a brand or ability to connect with others. And that's a big conversation.
I talk to a lot of people.
I think
That's
we
what
need
we
to do a part 2 of this, Taylor.
And
we always leave a big open gap in
we have
therapy.
some more time here today. But I've had people who are like Generation Z here on the podcast, and honestly, like, it's more important now than ever. First of all, if you just go up and just talk to people now, people are so much more receptive because a lot of people aren't going up and talking. So just people really long for that human contact. I mean, our brain is hundreds of thousands of years old relative to like its current human form. And because of that, this little blink of an eye, even the last 200, 300 years, is not our evolutionary wiring is way more important than anything else. And we are tribal people. We long for people. And
I'm less
those...
concerned about that generation as the one beneath them.
Oh, the kids. But I still don't. It's not going to... I mean, we have been... Our human... I mean, the endurance that humans have survived through for the centuries, people being exposed to an iPad at age 3, pale in comparison to when the Vikings landed in England 1,000 years ago and just killed the men and took the women and children and became their new families, you know? Like, we are so adaptable that I think the best is yet to come. But
So you're saying it doesn't matter if the world is different. If it changes substantially, humans will adapt to whatever
Correct.
that looks like.
Absolutely.
Well, that's not untrue.
Yeah.
It's a matter of, is it more desirable, which we can't necessarily say it is or it isn't.
And I think it's up to us as individuals also in that realm, because even like now, like just because I can look at the phone 24/7, I shouldn't. Also, like our life is easier now in a lot of ways, like with the work that we do. Like, we're not going into coal mines and scraping out coal to try to get a little fire for the winter, but yet we're busier than we've ever been. No, even myself, I got this going on, and part of that is like my own ambition or my own thing, the way I want to live. But I also think that, like, you know, it's you have to recognize that and be like, oh no, this doesn't mean anything, you know. And then there's absolutely an argument for like getting a camper and like living in the woods and just enjoying your life. Right now, I'm in the accumulation phase of my life where I'm still building and creating, but there's no doubt that, like, in the back of my mind, part of me is like, I wonder what that would be like, you know, just to like detach from everything.
What would you do? Who would you be if you could be anything in the world today, right now? Like, just what would you do, Taylor?
You know, I think I would. I love speaking. I think I live the life. I love doing this kind of stuff. I love connecting with good people. I love understanding. I love learning. So if I could do anything, I would do something like this all day. I may not be in the studio all day, but I would be doing something where I'm talking with people, meeting people. I love canvassing. I go out. We talked about that. You know, she ran for Congress, and I worked yesterday.
Are you still canvassing?
I'm still canvassing every day. Every day I have an opportunity.
What area are you canvassing right now?
District 4, which is Sandy, Draper, South Jordan, Riverton, Harriman, Lehigh, Eagle Mountain, Saratoga Springs. I was in Bluffdale yesterday. I had to do something for Bluffdale for work. Was out there, and I took a little bit of time before the sun went down in the evening, and I went and canvassed, and I actually met someone who I know. It's not the cool thing about canvassing is sometimes you meet people that you already know, and they're like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" I'm like, "Well,
I'm asking for your vote.
Yeah, I'm asking for your vote.
Well,
But
if you ever want to go out 2x2, I'm always happy to go
thank
out
you.
with you.
Thank you. I appreciate your energy. Thank you.
Yeah.
And
Like I know how
yeah, it's fun.
pounding the pavement is.
And I've got somebody, like, the thing is, because I go and talk to people and I have like these conversations. I mean, I've met so many great people. I've had people welcome me in their homes. I've had people want to do stuff. I've had people reach out and be like, hey, can I volunteer for your campaign? I've met so many great people. And to me, that's the cool part. Like really just like the unraveling of life, learning why we are the way we are. That's really what I love doing. And like, to your point, if I could do anything, it would be this. So like there are things I have to do for money relative to, I teach school and then I work a lot with adults with special needs, and I enjoy those things. There's aspects of both those things that I enjoy doing relative to I can convince myself, oh, this is good, this is fun too. And I kind of look at it like, oh, I'm like playing in a movie. Let's go do this. But like from like a creative standpoint, I love coaching, and then I love like speaking. I love learning. I love trying to help people. I love trying to like put some good energy out there. I'm not going to win the congressional seat.
Why not?
No spell casting.
Well,
So
because
yeah,
it's
so
impossible. but-
I do
Yeah.
I do want to put a pulse out there
Yeah.
for everybody,
Mhm.
okay? For
Mhm.
your race.
Mhm.
And for the candidates that are part of this well-oiled machine.
Mhm.
It's time for you to stand down. Like it's honestly time for you to stand down. And I really think that you are the best candidate in this race.
Well,
And this isn't meant to be like, hey, these other candidates are incompetent, any of this other stuff.
Sure.
It's politics is really just a different style of human trafficking.
Mm.
And through your fundraising and everything else, we've seen where your money is coming from. We know who's trafficking you. We know what favors you've traded. And we all know the game now, right? The currency of politics is money and power.
Mhm.
And as highly traded as you are indicates that you cannot be objective and for the people
Mm.
at this point.
Mhm.
So Taylor, if honestly, if you were another person, anybody else, even with our, little trying to figure out where we both are at so that we
Yeah.
can meet at the seams and
Yes.
start moving forward.
Yes.
If I didn't believe in you, I wouldn't come on here at all. I would just
Thank
be
you.
like, screw you.
Yeah.
I have better things to do.
Mhm.
So I am here hopefully to get people to know about you, to know about your campaign, to bring votes into you, and because I know at the end of the day when it says, okay, how do we save humanity, I know that you'll do the right thing, and
Thank
that's
you.
saying something.
Thank you. And this race is an extension of my love of people, just like this podcast is. And the goal is to put good energy out, ideas, thoughts that will live on long after I do. So the campaign is just another extension of that.
I really
and yeah,
wish you the best in
Yeah.
succeeding in that,
yeah.
because when you succeed, we all succeed, and especially if it's life aligned.
Mm-hmm. And I try to be as authentic as possible. I try to spread my truth, and to the best of the knowledge that I know at any given point, I try to, reflect that and give that. And it's a very interesting thing. I love freedom. We're also in a unique time relative to our political climate, because I believe Donald Trump is so unconstitutional in so much of how he behaves, which is tyrannical, that we have guys like my opponent, Mike Kennedy, who will not vote against him, even when it's unconstitutional. And there's no voice of reason. There's a Democrat who's going to be more economically socialist. And then there's got to be a voice for people who believe in free people, free markets, free trade. There has to be somebody for them to have a voice for, because only Congress has the authority to declare war. Only Congress has the authority to tax. There's been multiple votes on both those issues. Mike Kennedy has voted against having a vote. And with the tariffs, he's voted against. He's voted for giving that power to the executive branch, when in the Constitution, which he did swear that oath to, he only Congress has it, the people's representative. So it's like this weird thing where it's like, are we too far gone where, and maybe we are, but
No, we're not too far gone.
my goal is to at least send a message to him that, like, hey, District 4, we actually care. And thank you for saying that very much. I really appreciate your energy and thank you. And I try to be like even when we were talking about the data centers, I want to be as authentic as possible. Like I love life, I do, and I want to be respectful at all times and everything. But I also want to learn and grow, and also speak my truth the best I can. It's a very
It's a tough topic.
and thank you. Do you have anything you'd want to talk about, even for 5 or 10. I also
we want to
have-
keep it light, something
I'll-
fun and friendly.
Oh
What's-
gosh, I mean, you're the therapist here. What do people need?
What do people need? Let's see.
Okay. So, do you mind if I just? Okay. So here's something that I'm currently struggling with.
Okay.
Okay. I like uplifting things. I like happiness. I like goofing about, having fun with my dog, biking, not being in any kind of like mental weed.
Yes.
Okay. And I really hate that I have to be the one to say something, that all the other people before me never said anything when they knew. And if they didn't know, then why did you pretend that you did? Okay. But it doesn't matter. So now it's me. And here's what I really struggle with. I don't understand why humanity. So like one of the things that I did is I created this chemistry model of holography where you could take it in your classroom and you could essentially like, kind of like in Singapore, how they have these 3D holography models. Like you could do the same thing with this chemistry model that I created, and it's aligned to it works with the numbers of physics. But sharing it with people, instead of being like, "Oh wow, cool, thank you," instead they like swarm me and hit me with sticks, beat down, like I'm gonna dismantle you, cut off her head. I don't understand that behavior. I don't know how to deal with that in my heart anymore.
It's traumatizing.
It's traumatizing, and then I don't even like that we're here having a conversation where I'm like, gosh, he's saying the same thing that I am, and then it's like, wait, no, I don't know how to close the gap
You're
anymore.
creating some kind of dissonance in them that we don't know where it's coming from. They believe you're saying something completely opposed to what they believe, and that's how I
Believer one.
felt here. I felt like you're not speaking the same language somehow, and there was a dissonance. It
Right.
was palpable.
Because I Taylor, I think you're phenomenal.
Yeah, we love you,
Well, thanks.
but I could feel it, and I don't think you were so far off the mark like you said.
But I'm doing something wrong. I know I'm doing something wrong. So what am I doing wrong that's hurting humanity so much, that's making people fight instead of come together? Because I really thought that this was going to be like, cool, let me show you something neat. Okay, now we all come together. But instead it's like a war. And it's like, I don't want to be a war.
entertain new ideas, devotion to the ideas that are already out there. They've already been convinced, or they're already fighting against a specific cause, and they don't want to be derailed from that because that's now part of their identity. So what you're throwing at them is now a solution. They don't want to leave their cause. Identity formation is so absolutely massive. So if you are actually sending out something that's going to cause their identity to have to shift, that's going to be painful for them, and they're going to attack you directly for it.
But why?
Why? That's a good question, because this is who they are. This is how they're supporting their entire essence. They're who they are, what they believe in, what they represent in the world, their brand. Now, if they have to concede that your point is actually valid, they don't have a brand anymore. They have to rebrand themselves. They have to be...
But what if it's a brand enhancement?
I don't think they see it that way. You can see that with the protesters with various different small topics. It doesn't matter if it's big or small. They cannot deviate from their stance because they've built a massive identity based on that alone. So you're going to have to battle through their dissonance and reach them on another level.
That's exhausting.
It is. It's horrible. But you can do it. You can do it.
I
Through
don't
the
wanna
trauma, you will
fight.
get a lot of nasty people, but... let the nasty cheers echo. You'll flip the script on every stride. Those are my newest lyrics.
One thing I like about both. So the reason I thought you guys would be a good match too, and the problem
You're
with
excellent.
the problem
You're
with all these podcasts, we just don't have enough the time. But we have a couple minutes. But like, is that you're trying to, a free flowing conversation. You're trying to do that within the bounds of getting to things or getting But you guys both have such a big energy wave. You're so free. You're so authentic that I love it. You know what I mean? Like I love the intent, the aura. I love that whether we all and by the way, I've never in my life looked at somebody and cared really about their political like we have to have substantive conversations. Our political ideology like what should there be a flat tax? Should there be no income tax? Should there be tariffs? Like that? That's more like the meat and potatoes of like something that like we're doing in a given moment. Just like if we were football coaches, we'd be talking about a football scheme or a play or whatever. But the more important is someone's intent, their energy, and how they engage with people. You guys always engage with people great, but also you just do your own thing. You so beat to your own drum that I love the creativity. I love how you think outside the box. I love the fact that you don't let society's social conditioning box you in.
You don't do that either.
I work to not do that. I really try not to. I try not to let people get in my head of relative to how I should behave. And, you know, the thing is, when someone's authentic and real like you guys are, it rubs up against people who are popular or who are, and that's a lot of it is people who are very authentic can have hearts of pure gold. And then because they're authentic, there are people who aren't, and those forces collide. And what happens is people who are really pure and authentic, they are willing to challenge people who aren't. And I seen it before in real life, and I want to echo that and to bring your guys because there's something to it. There's something to people who say, no, I'm not going to let society tell me exactly how to live. I'm going to do this the way I see it. It takes a mental discipline. It takes a mental resilience to not give up and to not give in when a mob shows up at your house and tells you that you're messed up, that you're crazy, and they're ready to burn it down, but you don't give in, you don't back down. That takes the strength that people have no concept of until you've been there. You know, until you've faced that, until you face that sort of heat, people just don't understand. And it builds you, and it also speaks of, like, man, you have a justice that, like, I'm willing to die. You know, someone can put a gun in my head, they can't change the way I feel, and I'm willing to die for what I believe. And that is a beautiful thing. Like, at the end of the day, that is the essence of humanity. What if we all live like that? Like that is our true essence. At our core, at our higher vibration, you know, we would rather live one day, not to quote Benito Mussolini, but we would rather live one day as a lion than 100 years as a sheep. Like, that to me is life. That is the human experience, is to be like, here I am, this is what I want to do, this is what I stand for, and I don't care what the mob says. I'm sacrificed. I'm Jesus on the cross right now, come get me. That is, like, inspiring to me.
Ooh.
I don't know.
I think January will probably still take the emotional hit because it's important to her. And I'm not saying lean into being the bad guy, but you will have to be the bad guy until people are more receptive to your message. And it will be slow, but they will start to come around. Mm-hmm. That's the best thing I could say, because I do believe in you, and I do believe in what you're saying as being the best possible option. Sorry, Taylor.
Yeah.
Well, I want to share one thing while we're here, right? So I had a run-in with a nuclear technician, right? And he took aim and fired, and I got, like, thousands of comments that are just really atrocious things that nobody should ever say to another human being.
Sure, yeah.
And I'm embarrassed in that moment that I gave up. You know, just like taking in what you guys said, I gave up on humanity. And I said, you know what, you guys I'll just give you whatever knowledge you need. You can figure it out yourself. But we were talking before the podcast how I got this message. I've had a lot of kids message me. Like 15-year-olds, 16, 17. Mm-hmm. And the reality is they do not have the tools. They don't have the experience and knowledge. I mean, they're still young in their lives. Mm-hmm. And ultimately, you know, if somebody can outmath me, great. I'm always up for a game of being outmathed.
Sure.
But real stuff, not credential attacking. Like, actually, let's go head to head and let's figure out these problems. But it was wrong of me to give up on humanity in that moment, just because I was hurt, you know.
Right.
So I, like you said, keep on going, and
I know you're not going to give up. You can't.
We'll figure this. I mean, I don't want my dog to. I want my dog to have a lot of snow throughout his life.
Me too.
That's funny.
So thank you, Taylor, for giving me the time of day, the conversation. I really didn't think that we were going to go as deep as we did.
I want to go deep because we talked about it last time, and then I wanted to have the conversation. I wanted to also give some thoughts I have, and because last time I didn't even know about any of this. When you brought up the topic last time, I was like, man, I had to go look it up and stuff. So it was good for me, and I like having the mental, dialogue relative to like understanding things, even for myself. Like, it's fun for me to be like, well, is this true? Is this because? And I'll tell you this, like, you know, there are pioneers in every industry that people try to that everyone thinks is crazy, but also
which is a really scary thing to be called.
Also regardless, just the fact that you don't quit and you don't back down, that is beauty in of itself. Even if I agree, don't disagree, if this is 100% right, 2% right, 0%, it doesn't really matter. Anybody who is like, you know what, I'm going all in, this is what I stand for, there's admiration in that. There's respect in that, you know. I do it like with, you know, one thing I try to do is like I never, like what if no matter what society tells us that we should be like, what if we said, okay, as long as we don't hurt anybody, we're going to live our own authentic life and we don't care and we're never going to back down.
I think is what you said there.
Mhm.
As long as we're not hurting anybody, cool.
Mm-hmm. That light's blinking, which means they want us to go. Is there anything else that we'd like to do or say?
No, I appreciate everything you had to say, January. It was very informative. And I think I saw a video that you posted about this before. I don't know how long ago,
Yeah.
but it was very fascinating. So I appreciate everything that you've had to say today.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you.
And thank you, Taylor, for the
you're
invite.
welcome. Anything you want to talk about real quick in 2 minutes?
Oh, you keep asking me that.
It's
gonna-
because you're
good.
probably the most fascinating
it's
person
going
in
to
here.
open up a can of worms. You can't open a therapy session or end a therapy session with a huge can of worms. And that happens every time. So you need to start earlier if you're going to do that. What would you like to talk about? Nothing. I wanted to reiterate the lyrics that I wrote. Go with that. You'll flip the script at every stride. Let the nasty cheers echo. They will continue to echo. Don't let them permeate your mind. Flip the script. Even if it's just in your head. Flip the script in your head. You want to save humanity. You want to save the kids. That's the script you have now. So continue forward and keep doing that.
Yeah. Well, I guess right here in this moment, we flipped the script together.
We did.
Thank you, Taylor.
Thank you,
You're
Taylor.
welcome.
saving
Thank
humanity.
you, guys. I appreciate your energy. Thank you for being awesome. Thanks for being kind to me, and I appreciate everyone's time, energy. I want to try to create something cool, and I'd love to do a promo. I don't know if we could do it.
Go ahead.
Like maybe we could just all get together.